Alright, so I'm trying to platinum over 100 games in a list created by the community. Now, if I can't do this before the channel hits 850,000 subscribers, then I will shave my head bald and look like a base character from a video game. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Alright, so today I got the platinum trophy on The Last of Us 2, remastered apparently. The difference, I have no idea. Naughty Dog has been in the thick of it recently, so it makes sense. But this is obviously the sequel to the first one, which I did also platinum a while ago, and they made a show about the game series, which goes quite conspicuously hard, I won't lie. However, the game itself only has 26 trophies for the platinum, which is kind of sad because there isn't a single story trophy except for the final one, which is just insane amounts of edging, let's be real.
That's what I'm saying.
But stage 1 contains us just playing through the story in its entirety while mostly just going after collectibles, because that is the real challenge of this platinum. There's over 200 collectibles in this game and I cried after getting them all. Anyways, The Last of Us Part 2 first opens with a scene sort of summarizing real fast the first game in case you forgot it, but all the while Joel is just cleaning his good old guitar because that thing lives with him 24/7. Who needs a beautiful wife and family when you can just finger a guitar, am I right? Yeah, so then it actually kicks off and Joel and Tommy are riding horses through a very scenic area of the game. Too bad we almost never end up in an area like this again. I see now why Naughty Dog chose this, just to show us what they can do, but won't do because of Neil.
Oh my god!
Oh, and then there was more guitar playing. Yes, this is still the intro, and we've played guitar twice now. Please send help. Finally, we flash forward to the present, and it turns out that was all a dream Ellie was having. She has lots of those in this game, fun fact. I think she might just be mentally ill. But a dude named Jesse came to her house and woke her up to go on a scouting run with another character named Dina. And no, not Dana like Dana White, but instead just some chick who basically follows Ellie around like a lost puppy dog the entire time. However, once they were off on their little job, the game then swaps over to Abby, who is The Last of Us 2's secondary main character. And she also resembles Sam Sulek a lot, and now I can't stop seeing it. Now, there's a lot of controversy on Abby in this game, mostly because her missions and overall inclusion to begin with is kind of, how do I say this nicely? Useless and not fun at all. But she does have her own little story, and it follows pretty closely to Ellie's a lot. Some would say they're almost twins, except they want to murder each other very much. But playing again as Ellie and Dina, they went down to the supermarket to use it as access to this town that needed scouting. And there was a load of infected inside, so we kind of just got a combat tutorial and stuff while here, which was fun. But then a giant blizzard came quite literally out of nowhere, and we had to rush off to a building to hide in. While inside this building, we found out it was more survivors from our town's little hiding place, and they had a workshop inside of it, which we then used to upgrade weapons on. And after upgrading my first weapon, I got my first trophy also, which is awesome. Ellie and Dina then went to the basement of this place and found a secret weed farm and then got a tad bit high off the pie, if you catch my drift. And I think they also touched each other. Classic Naughty Dog in 2024 moment. But Jesse kind of just walked in on them and basically was angry because the town relies on them for support and yada yada yada. However, one important thing was that Joel and Tommy never returned back from their job they were also put out on. So Ellie went to chase them down and would end up walking in on Joel and Tommy getting the beat out of them, with Joel ultimately dying from Abby. You see, this is where the two stories connect, you know? You see it now? Yeah, okay. And we now get to spend the whole game hunting down Abby while also figuring out why she did it. What a classic and original story that I'm sure won't be riding off of the first game's entire plot at all. So yeah, that's basically where the game's direction heads next. Ellie and Dina are off to Seattle to find Abby because she is there with the rest of her group. And Tommy also did head off to hunt her, but he went a bit before Ellie and Dina did. So we were almost playing catch up trying to find them all. It's kind of a mess, just like my life. But I got my first collectible trophy of many called Starter Set from finding the first 5 trading cards in the game right here. Ellie and Dina then continued on with their travels, eventually making it to the entrance of Seattle, and there was nobody there. I know, a shocker when 99% of the population on Earth is dead. But we had to do this big ass puzzle to open the gates and get our horse in because travel speed. And while doing it, I also learned my first player upgrade of the game for yet again another trophy pop. We then had one more gate to get through, but the generator to turn it on had no gas left, so then the game sends us to this little open world section of Seattle to find gas. This might be the most groundbreaking objective ever, Naughty Dog. I can't wait to spend 2 hours here searching for gasoline. Now that's what I call realism, mother. Now, since I have collectibles to get, that did of course drag this section of the game out longer than it should be, but conveniently enough, there was always copious amounts of enemies in the hotspots for collectibles to induce fun into my blood-flowing veins. But during the bank section of this area, I opened the vault inside of it, which was being robbed when the infection first took over years upon years ago, and in the vault itself was a special little ring collectible that was also a trophy, so I'll take it. I then spent another hour, like I've mentioned, just going to all of the areas of this section, and then after I reached my final one right here, I got a trophy called Sightseer for going through all of the other areas so far. But this final location we are at is called the courthouse, and inside of its basement parking garage is where we find the gas we need. Also, a lot of infected because, duh. That's just how it works, okay, bro? So yeah, we grabbed the gas, took it back and used it on the generator, opened the gate, and we were finally off to set our own destiny and save the world again. Oh God, that was unexpected. Clean up on aisle my pants, am I right?
Shut the fuck.
Anyways, as you can see, Ellie got captured with no signs of Dina. Oh, never mind. Here she comes flying through the fucking ceiling like a squirrel monkey. Ellie then escaped and took out the first of many, many people we will in this part of the game. That is because we got introduced to the first of many combat sections against the Wolves of Seattle, which is like the controlling faction and also the one Abby is a part of. The dots are all connected now, baby. Here we go. But yeah, this section of the game was a real test of my stealth and then combat abilities because I cannot stealth for my life. But at one point, I did do a good sneak attack and shot this guy's ankles out. I call this move the reverse Anne Frank.
What did he say?
Anyways, after all of that fun, the game then really slowed down because, well, we just got our buttholes exposed to violence. So there was then a decently long section that just kind of had us traveling some neighborhoods and surrounding area, looting and talking about girly things with the girls because girl power, baby. But during this, I got another trophy from upgrades, and it was from fully upgrading a single branch on the upgrade tree. Eventually, though, more wolves showed up and we had to take them out the civil way, through bullets and executions. And this is kind of the cycle the game goes through. Fight, no fight and loot. Fight, no fight and loot. Very fun and intuitive, I must say. But the next trophy I got was another weapon upgrade trophy, so that's also lame, like this game's design. And during one of the fighting sequences in this cycle, we ended up getting in such a screwed situation that Ellie and Dina ended up in the damn sewers of the game, and then proceeded to also get hunted down here in quite the dramatic fashion. But I'm fine with it because it's dark and that looked cool, which is all it takes to impress my simple boy brain. Eventually, they did make it to the exit of the sewer, however, and it led straight into a movie theater that was literally right outside of it. Also, I know I just called that underground section a sewer, when in reality it was probably just the subway, but are they really that different, to be honest? Anyways, this theater we are in now with Dina actually ended up being our little home base for the rest of the story because Dina is pregnant. I don't think Ellie's the father, but who the f knows? It's almost 2025, baby. The story then began the first of many, sadly many flashback sequences with Ellie and Joel before his head turned into brain matter. But there was a trophy during this one for putting a hat on Joel while inside the dinosaur zoo. And yeah, it's very easy to get this, so here it is. Sadly though, that was the last trophy I would get for around 3 to 4 hours more of this game's playtime. Damn, that's crazy. But basically, the story continued on with Ellie and no Dina because she is in no shape to be almost getting shot at every 5 minutes by evil men. And we kind of just did the same cycle I mentioned with fighting to no fighting and so forth while going deeper and deeper into the city to try and desperately find Abby. We did end up making it to the hospital though, which is where Ellie was almost killed for a vaccine back in the first game. And inside of it was this girl named Nora who knows Abby and her whereabouts. We also did get to self-torture her, so that was fun. New mechanic, naughty dog. You silly dog. But we found out that Abby is either at or headed to the aquarium in this city. We don't know why, but she is. So there was then a cool section where we actually stole a boat and then used it to travel the flooded city towards the aquarium, of course. But on the way, I finally got a trophy again, and it was from finding 12 workbenches total in the game. We then kept on driving the good old boat until it capsized, and we were left to swim the remainder of the distance to the aquarium itself. Once inside, we then had to, of course, find Abby because she is the op of all ops to ever be an op. And well, we didn't find her, but instead we found her friends who were also in on the killing of Joel. And there was a little scuffle because Ellie had them at gunpoint, which wasn't the smartest idea. But once the dust settled down, both of them died, and one of them was also pregnant. Not the guy, of course. So yeah, I don't know if that counts as a triple kill, but it's still horrible no matter what, and Ellie had a little breakdown, but thankfully all of her friends just showed up at the same time. Talk about impeccable timing, Jesus. And speaking of timing, Abby found us all, like literally right after, and domed Jesse in the face, then was about to kill Tommy also, but the game came to a halt and gave us another flashback. But not to Ellie, to Abby. And thus we begin the best part of this game. I'm just kidding, this shit is so ass.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
We now get to be Abby and see her last 3 days of Seattle happen, leading up to her friends all dying and her maybe killing Ellie that we left off on. And I'm not gonna lie, I hated this as I just said, so I'm not gonna devote any of my time and very advanced brain power on explaining Abby's story since it just sucks caca-duda even if I were to. But I did get a few trophies while playing her version of The Last of Us 2. The first one was from finding a few coins, which is a collectible that is unique to just Abby, and here's the first one of many of those. I also completely destroyed this dude in a shooting range competition because aim assist is love and life for another trophy right here. I then found yet again another collectible for a trophy, but it was actually just some random relic that I think is an Easter egg for something, but I don't care enough to Google it, so here's a trophy anyways. Next up, I got another trophy from a little competition thing, but this one was a bit harder because of gravity. That bastard. But it was just an archery challenge inside the aquarium before any carnage happened, and if you win, you get this trophy. I then got a collectible trophy next from finding all the training manuals, which just expand upon your player upgrades, and I hate that. I also unlocked the last save of the game for another trophy, and I learned 25 player upgrades next, which is half the total we need to. And then I finally found all of the coins in this game for, yeah, that dumbass trophy. And that's basically all the trophies I got during the Abby section. We then finally, after I think 4 or 5 hours for me personally of playtime, to reach the ending of this game. And we got forced to be Abby and try to take out Ellie, which I was not with at all. And I actually let her die to get the good ending, as they say. But it kind of just ends with Abby not fully taking out Ellie because this little bald kid said no.
I like it, cut G.
So yeah, another edging moment, if you will. There's then a lot, and I mean a lot, of post-story kind of summary wrap-up showing Ellie and Dina's life after the events that happened in Seattle. And I have a lot of questions about, you know, what all occurred, but long story short, it kind of just went full circle and had Ellie heading back after Abby once more to kill her again. Except this time, she wasn't in Seattle, but instead at Santa Barbara, and we chased Abby to this slave camp that she got captured in. And after taking out this guy to enter it, I got his gun, which was also the last I needed to for the all weapons trophy pop right here. Now, before we found Abby, I actually got quite a few trophies because this is the final part of the game. The first one I got was from finding and using all the workbenches in the game total, then from finding all the trading cards, and finally for getting all the artifacts and journal entries, which was the fattest collectible in the game. I also got that while in the final combat section against the guards of this prison sort of place, but damn, I felt like a prisoner here because the combat section was actually kind of nuts, which is why I kind of just ran past all the enemies. Ellie then found the prisoner's cell, let them free, and they told us that Abby was actually on the beach just kind of strung up on a post. So we then went and found her, and she looks a little bit different. I don't know if that's any better than before, but Ellie and her had one last brawl, and it was low-key disappointing. Again, nobody died. I can't with this game, bro. Just kill me if you're not gonna kill off any more characters. My god, Naughty Dog, we don't need The Last of Us 45 now, let's be real here. But yeah, that was also the ending aside from one last Joel and Ellie conversation. Hashtag schizos unite. And then I watched credits. The best part of this game because it's finally over. Jesus, dude. And of course, once that ended, I got the trophy for finishing the game. So it is now time for stage 2, the new game plus stage to get every upgrade and upgrades for all weapons, which does almost entail an entire full-length playthrough, but not quite if you do get lots of resources in the first one like I tried to. However, before doing that full new one, I actually just went back and did chapter select to try and figure out which goddamn item I didn't craft because I still had to craft one and I couldn't for the life of me figure it out. So I just crafted everything with both Abby and Ellie until it popped right there. F off, Naughty Dog. Off. And yeah, I then pretty much just played for like 10-ish hours more, grabbing every resource I saw and naturally getting all of the weapons upgraded and the player upgrade trophy as well, with the platinum trophy pop added on. So yeah, that was the Last of Us 2 platinum trophy experience. Overall, it was pretty poopy. I don't have much to say about this game that's good because I kind of just thought it was hot dog water. From the general story and then the direction of the story and then the trophies, it's just ass, man. It's bad. For one, Abby's story is just kind of dumb. The entire plot was pretty pointless, and they also tried to make her vulnerable by just making her afraid of heights, and that's pretty much about it. Also, I get the whole strong girl thing, but dude, they literally just put her in Ark Survival Evolved and just said 100 to arm muscles and then made the rest of her body look like SpongeBob. I just don't like this game. 4 out of 10. Would never play again. It might be gay to kiss Abby as a dude, I'm not gonna lie.